What is up, guys? Thaddeus here. Welcome back to another Dropshipping 2019 video. So, with this video, I really want to talk about how to actually, dropship profitably, especially for all the beginners that are going to be watching this video, because a lot of the time, beginners who first start off don't make a profit. Right away at least, or it takes them a while, or like I'll get DMs, people are like,
It's been 3 weeks since my store launch. I haven't made a single sale.
it's like, well, then you didn't launch your store right. But there's a few things we can do to counteract that. So let's just get to it, shall we? I mean, fuck, I guess so. I got my blue light glasses on, $10 on Amazon, by the way. But yeah, guys, I was gonna upload earlier, multiple times, but I flew to New York, and then your boy discovered that I suffer from migraines, and so it didn't happen. Now we are back and good, much healthier than a few days ago. So what do you need to do in 2019 to kind of generate these sales, to start generating like a profit, right? To actually have some money that you can put back in your own pocket and spend it with whatever kind of way you spend your money. Okay, so now I think the thing that we need to stress, right, is to do this properly in 2019. Okay, one of the focuses needs to be like, you need to be able to generate sales without only using paid advertising. Okay, especially for beginners, because beginners, most of the time, most beginners have trouble converting cold traffic right off the bat, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this can relate to that, because you launch your Facebook ads and you launch a Facebook campaign, and then you're not getting sales, or you get sales but you're barely breaking even, or you're even in the red, because your cost per conversion is way too high. So there's a problem there, and obviously, with Facebook, I'll cover a Facebook ad strategy in the end of this video. That works pretty well for a beginner, kind of just getting into it. But there's a few things with that. But the key point, right, is you need to be able to generate traffic relatively consistently without using paid advertising. Okay. So there's a lot to do that, but like the key thing is, especially with Facebook, guys, Facebook ads are slowly but surely getting more expensive. There's more advertisers hopping on the platform. Everyone starting dropshipping is like,
Facebook ads are the way to go.
And like people say that because it works. It's good. Once you find those winning like ad sets, once you find a winning campaign, you scale that, and you're cruising for at least the time being. But a lot of people overlook Google. A lot of people overlook Pinterest, which, by the way, is the third most popular social media, but no one really talks about that. So, point for you guys. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, right, which I haven't seen anyone else talk about when they're saying how to properly dropship in 2019, that is kind of sort of a different kind of take, a different strategy, is to use Instagram automation for your dropshipping stores. Okay, so for my brands, for my white label stores, my private label, like any of those brands, I don't use Instagram automation, just because I don't know. There's something about having your own unique brand where you kind of don't want to like taint it, I guess is the best way to explain it. It kind of puts a negative light on it, but with a dropshipping store, Instagram automation works wonders. Okay, now I'm not saying to use Instagram automation to try to get sales, okay, which is what people normally do. And again, I know people that can generate 1 or 2 sales a day just because of Instagram automation, like leaving comments on random people's posts that direct traffic back to your store, blah blah blah, right? Like that's an okay route, but there's a better way to go about doing this. Okay, so now, most people are, not most, but some people are familiar with, having a referral program, an affiliate program, or like an ambassador program, as I usually call it, because it makes people feel empowered. So having one of those, okay, having an ambassador program is super, super essential to having some form of traffic come to your site without actually having to spend money on ads, okay? And how do you do that is like, you get people to sign up to become an ambassador. There's a bunch of Shopify apps that have referral programs, right? They're literally referral apps on Shopify. And you get people to sign up. They get a custom link. They put that link, in their Instagram bio. They put that link wherever it is to drive traffic to your store, and then they get a commission after the sale is made. It's like dropshipping. You only pay for the product after the sale is made. So it's a perfect little relationship that once you figure out and get going can work wonders. Okay, but here's the thing: most people, right, they do manual outreach, especially if you're a beginner dropshipper. Like, you're one man, and you're going to go around, DMing people for maybe 30 minutes a day, maybe an hour a day, emailing them, doing whatever, saying, hey, do you want to become an ambassador? Like, it's not an efficient use of your time. But imagine if you had some sort of virtual assistant constantly DMing anyone that fit a certain criteria saying, hey, I love, like, we love your content, or we love your page. Like, we think you'd be a great fit for our ambassador program, like something like that, right? Then you have that person be like, oh, interesting. They'll look at, your Instagram page, look at wherever you told them to go, and then they'll be like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting, and they sign up to be an ambassador. And then boom, you already have one person, right? And then again, the stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks that's willing to promote your products, okay? Now, the only way this is going to work, right, which is, again, I'll touch on this later in the video, but it's like branding, right? In 2019, you got to look different. You can't look like every other dropshipping store. You literally I've been preaching this since video number 1 on YouTube, like 2 years ago or whatever. But custom content, guys, that's what you need to be doing. Having continuity, having all this stuff, which I'll talk about in a bit, but just having that is the only way that all of this works, okay? No one's going to want to become an ambassador. No one's going to want to sign up to be an affiliate for your product if your product looks trashy, if it doesn't look good enough for them to feel comfortable promoting to their own brand, to their own audience, because this is a person vouching for your company, okay? If it doesn't look good, they're not going to sign up. If it doesn't look good, they're not going to want to promote your shit, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, wonderful. Moving on. Now, Facebook ads, okay? This is a little strategy that I like to use, that I've told others to use, and it works fairly well. Now the thing is you need to at least spend $20 a day. If you can't afford to spend $20 a day, I don't think you should really be running Facebook ads. Obviously, like, oh, you can test $5 a day, you can do that. Yes, but you're not gonna get enough. You're not going to get a lot of data. You're not going to get enough data quickly. You may not even get sales every single day, just because sometimes your cost per purchase is going to be more than $5, depending on what you're selling. If you're doing like high ticket or something. Now, someone just tried to call me. So at least $20 a day, which you could be doing like $10 ad sets, which, for most dropshippers, that should give plenty of leeway to at least make, 1 or 2 purchases, probably more. Now, when you're doing this, right, what I like to do is, I think the 2 key metrics on Facebook ads are interests, right, and ad creative, like the actual, what are people seeing, like what's on their fucking screen, okay? And those are the 2 primary things that I like to focus on when I'm running Facebook ads or Google ads, especially Pinterest ads. A lot of it's ad creative. Now, when you're doing this, I like to do broad interest, like every single ad set, right? So for example, preferably $60 or $100 a day, $10 ad set for each one, right? Again, depending on your budget, you can do more. I wouldn't really go below $10 a day, but if you do have more money, like you could be doing $30, $50 a day per ad set. Now, when you're testing these ads, right, again, each ad set would either have a different interest or a different ad creative. Now, if you really have the money and you want to basically limit your sort of like variables, then obviously you keep one ad creative the same. Then you just test the interest. Once you find a few interests that are working really well, you horizontally scale, and then you test the ad creatives to see which of the ad creatives work best, right? But that's kind of like the way I like to do it is, you start fairly cheap, right? And you have a bunch of different interests. Now each ad set's going to be one fairly broad interest, but still relative to your niche, your market, your audience, right? I don't want to stack interests quite yet, especially if you're just brand new testing cold traffic. Okay, so basically what we're doing, right, is we want to put ourselves across the board, right, with basically as many interests as your budget can afford, so we can get a bunch of data on different sort of variables as quickly as possible. Okay, so again, so now, like, if we're doing $100 a day, we have 10 different ad sets at $10 a day with 10 different interests. Okay, those are testing. We let them run. We see which ones work. We see which ones are not working, or which ones are underperforming, right? We can cut those. Okay, duplicate the ones that are. Okay, scale those ones, but I don't want to scale yet. Okay, so that's the method when you do want to scale. Some people want to scale right away, which is cool. Some people want to keep testing. Like I prefer, like I really like gathering data. So I prefer to honestly, like, if I have 10, right, I'll let those run, and then I'll make 10 more. Okay, like I want to be across the board horizontally first before I start scaling vertically. Okay, so when I say scaling vertically, I'm talking about increasing the actual budgets. Right, like where you duplicate an ad set that's actually performing well, and then you increase the budget from, if you're only doing $10 a day, you can increase it to $50 a day. Okay, see how it does. If it keeps doing well, duplicate and then add, make that one $100 a day. Right, see how they do. Okay, there's no point in cutting ad sets that are doing well. If it's a $10 one, just keep it running. It's not going to hurt you. But that's kind of my sort of Facebook strategy, guys, for, keeping things relatively risk aversive. So you're not taking on a lot of risk by doing this, because you're keeping things cheap, and you're being, you're not spreading yourself too thin. Like, some people will only launch like 3 ad sets, right? Then they'll find one that works, cut everything, and then scale that one vertically, but then they don't have anything else running. Like, you should always be creating ad sets, right? Like, an ad set a day keeps the 9 to 5 away, okay? So always be testing, new things. But like, the key things that I test are obviously, for like geographic and stuff, like exclude, like if you're doing worldwide, exclude the bad countries, right? I always exclude like Dubai, the Philippines, India, just countries where like the mailing system, the address system is kind of not just not clean. Like, it's like too complex, where products are not getting delivered all the time, like shit like that, where your increase for chargebacks or even fraudulent orders are higher. Okay, so obviously there's that, but like, the key things that I'm testing are interest and ad creative. So with ad creative, guys, that's like, for me, I grew up just playing around with Photoshop, playing around with photography and content, and content's like one of my big things I'm known for. So that's what I like to do, is test the actual ad creative, because that's what people are seeing. So you can have the best interests out there. You could be on point with your target audience, and like, you'll be getting results. But if your ad creative, like, your ad creative can always improve. There can always be ways to make your ad creative more attractive to your audience that you're basically wanting them to buy your product. Okay. Now that's sort of like that Facebook ad strategy that basically I prefer to run these days for my dropshipping stores. It's quite actually a bit different for brands and like private label and completely branded stores. But that's like, we go get press, and we go it is a lot, just not just straight paid ads from cold traffic right away. That's not how we launch a brand. Now, the only way to get these Facebook ads and the Instagram automation and like the ambassador program and all this stuff to work well and to actually be profitable in 2019, guys, it all comes down to like branding. Okay, branding, like your angle, how customers perceive you and your offer, and everything like that, right? And again, I need to stress like content. Okay, so like dropshipping products, you can probably find the same thing on Amazon, order that shit on Prime, get it to your house like 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is, right? You can go get photos, you get content, or you send that to a photographer in your city, to whoever right? Content is essential. Okay, like that's probably the most important factor. Okay, because again, you need to feel different, you need to feel genuine, you need to feel like you're not another dropshipping store. Because like, at this point in 2019, dropshipping's been around not a long time. Like, it's still like, I mean, like e-commerce itself, the market cap is supposed to like double this year. So we're cruising on that end. Okay, we're cruising on that end, but you need to be different, because there are people, like a lot of the people that buy things online are familiar with like even subconscious, like they're familiar with just the flow of things and like how things look and operate. And so if they notice, certain things are similar to sites that have been dropshipping sites before, where they get products delayed, they don't even get the product, like they've had a bad experience with, they'll relate that to your store without you even having done anything wrong. Okay, that's why you need to look different, you need to be different and brand yourself differently. Okay, again, that's where content is in play, because content's unique and you can make things unique through that. Okay. Continuity as well, guys, is super important, especially with colors. Okay, some people's colors are all over the fucking place, and that's not what you want to be doing. So even in design school, guys, did you like stick to 3 colors? Okay, 3 colors. 2 of them can be slightly similar, and you need one that kind of offsets the other 2. Okay, that's kind of my go-to for brands. That's kind of my go-to for most things. You stick to 3 colors. Okay, and then with those, that's your website. You stick with those. You don't use a bunch of different colors. You're not using 7, 8, 9 colors all over the board. It's gonna make your site look sloppy and gross and just all over the place. Okay, there's small things like even removing the Powered by Shopify thing on your footer of your website. There's adding like a trademark. Which I mean, is technically, if you're not trademarked, I didn't tell you to do this. But you can like add that after your logo name. Just things that give a presence that you're not like the rest of these dropshipping stores, right? Because that's not what you want people to kind of like group you in. Okay. The other key thing, right, with branding is like you need to add your brand's language to your site. Okay. What do I mean by that is, oh, hey, we got Dante over there in the back. I just noticed. Where was it? You need to add your brand's language to your site. What do I mean by that? Like, you'll see, with girls stores or like influencers with like 150K that are models and stuff, right? If you go to a website, they're like they're like, for example, they'll have a banner on their website, right? It says like, hey babes, sign up for email list and get 20% off. Like saying hey babes, because like they know their audience, guys, and they know their brand. Like for them, for that influencer, right, it's going off of their sort of personality because it's the influencer's website. But that's where you have to decide what your brand is, kind of the language behind it. So again, for one of my very first dropshipping stores called The Nugget, the entire theme was that people were in a gold mine, okay, a gold mine, right? And that all these products were like little nuggets of gold, like gold nuggets, okay? And that was like the theme. And then we could cater our language around that, and people felt like it was something unique, okay? I think that's why my store did so well, is because I was doing all of this 2 years ago, okay? Now, the last thing, right, is like you have to understand that you can't really be price competitive, especially with Amazon and these other huge companies around, right? And that's okay. Like you don't need to be price competitive. Like there's only a certain people that price compare and shit like that. So what you need to do is you need to understand that Amazon can't run ads on specific products. That's not what they do, because there's so many products, right? You need to understand that, hey, your store, you're only gonna have 2 or 3 products that are selling really, really well most of the time, okay? So with that, you need to find a way to market those 2 or 3 products really, really well, better than anyone else. So how do you actually do it? Again, it goes to branding, it goes to content, it goes to like all of this stuff in one. It's like these are all different cogs in a goddamn wheel that you need to make sure are working, okay? And if you have one that's just out of place, nothing else works or barely works. It's barely functioning, okay? So like you got to think of this as all just one giant sort of machine that needs constant attention, one little piece, one little off piece can kind of set off the whole thing, okay? So that's kind of it, guys. Like just to recap, right? So this branding, content is a huge thing. That's what you're going to use to be unique and differentiate yourself. Instagram automation, I don't advocate using that for like brands, anything like that, but I do advocate using it for dropshipping stores, okay? And with a dropshipping store, don't use it to just try and get cold sales, okay? Although that works, it's not worth the 1 or 2 sales a day. It's way better to get 1 or 2 brand ambassadors a day who can always continually drive traffic, because they're always going to be trying to grow their own audience. Your link is always in their bio, like that always works. But again, coming back to branding, you have to have a good brand for that to work, okay? And then with Facebook ads, right, you test the interest, you test the ad creative, and you scale horizontally, right? You're driving traffic to your site, but you need brand continuity, right? From going from ad creative to your website. Like the ad could be really, really good, but if you go to your website and it's shit, then it's not going to flow. Or if the colors are off, right? That's why you stick to 3 colors, all right? So there's all this stuff that kind of goes in play, guys. That's kind of just wanted to sort of talk to you guys about in this video today, because I haven't uploaded in a bit, just because I basically died in New York. But and that's the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. We are doing a video basically whenever I feel like it, but I'm trying to do every other day. We'll see how that goes. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where else the fuck you want. There's links in the description for stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. This is fucking half Asian Tony Stark coming at you. Shoots.